Welcome to the dojo. I am your host, Andrew Lucio. The combat phase can be broken down into two basic elements: playing assets and foundations to build your character's chances of defeating their rival, and the attack sequence. We're going to focus on these two basic elements as they will form the foundation, pun definitely intended, of your ability to win a universe's match. During the combat phase, you can play as many forms as you like, cards or abilities played outside of the attack sequence. Let's start with a turn 1 foundation playthrough. I begin by playing each foundation into the card pool and performing a control check for each one after it enters. You will notice that I am sequencing my foundations from highest difficulty to lowest difficulty. This helps me to control the flow of my turn and ensure that my control check has the best chance of meeting or beating the difficulty. Remember, once I begin the game, I don't have any foundations to help pass my control check, and if I am player 1, I also don't have my character to help pass it either. Once you have played all the foundations that you would like, you will enter the end phase. The active player will clear their card pool first, going from right to left, building each foundation that was successfully played in this combat phase. Once the card pool is empty, play will pass to your opponent. Attacking during your combat phase is a bit different. Once you play an attack from your hand and into the card pool, and after you perform your control check, you will enter the attack sequence. When entering the attack sequence, or at other times during the combat phase, you may open a window for a responsibility. Here is a responsibility that could trigger after playing an attack. Responsibilities are green, so keep an eye out for them as they must be declared to your rival. As with most abilities in universes, you get to resolve one, and then your opponent gets to resolve one. And the process repeats until both players pass, either closing the response window or moving on to the next step of play. Now that you're in the attack sequence, you can play enhance abilities. The active player will get to play the first enhance ability, and then their rival will play their first enhance ability. And the process will repeat until both players pass. When both players have passed, play will proceed to the block step. There are two parts your rival must consider when blocking your attack: the zone and the speed. Each card in Universes has both a block symbol that identifies what zone it blocks and how difficult it is to use for blocking: low zone, or yellow; mid zone, or orange; high zone, or red. Matching zones performs a complete block, allowing no damage to get through, while using a zone that is one level away performs a partial block, allowing half the damage, rounded up, through. The speed of the attack will add to the difficulty of the block, as well as any progressive difficulty, and the total difficulty must be met or beaten by your rival's control check in order for the block to be successful. Whether the block is successful or not, play will proceed to damage. Now, damage can be found here, and based on what type of block occurred or didn't occur, damage will reduce your rival's health. If your attack deals damage, turn it upside down to help you remember that it did so. You may enter the attack sequence any number of times during your combat phase. When you are done attacking, you can play other forms if you wish, and then proceed to the end phase. Your card pool will empty from right to left, and you may add any attack that dealt damage face down under your character card. This is known as momentum, another resource that can be used in the game. Attack cards can have abilities that require momentum, so keep that in mind when clearing your card pool, as it is not required to add an attack that dealt damage to your momentum. Universes has so much in store for you. Now that you know the basics, it's time to build a deck and get into the action.